After a student movement, according to reports, no Hindu has crossed the border of Bangladesh and entered to India.
Isn't that because India has closed the borders?
There is no security problem. The Bangladesh government
Is Bangladesh in denial?
Persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh is false and motivated by a political force.
Who's spreading the propaganda stuff?
If Bangladesh unstable, West Bengal, Myanmar and Manipur will be in trouble. India is a neighboring country who solicit Indian cooperation. Hindus, Buddhists, Christians are much more better than Indian minorities.
This is an India Today Network exclusive. I'm being joined by Dr. Khalid Hossain, who is the Bangladesh Minority Affairs Minister in the interim setup in Bangladesh right now. Dr. Hossain, thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global. There is a lot of questions that are being asked about the situation on the ground. If you could first tell us what's the situation on the ground for minorities specifically in Bangladesh?
Thank you for your question. You know that Bangladesh is a country of communal harmony. In Bangladesh, Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, ethnic groups, Muslims are governed under the same law. Equal rights exist for all groups, irrespective of caste, creed, and religion. The state wants to exercise the right. The Constitution of Bangladesh guarantees the full rights of all religious communities. There were no significant cases of attacks committed on religious establishment. Scattered incidents occurred during the most recent student movement. This has brought about wholehearted political outcomes in both the Muslim community as well as other entities. The government is on alert to prevent misinformation about communal attacks. The government is determined and committed to maintain communal harmony and enforce strict rule of law at all times. Confidently, the government has ensured that there will be no discrimination between any communities. Citizens will get equal rights. A 24-hour control room has been established to monitor any incidents motivated by any groups. Through the support of field administration, the Ministry of Religious Affairs, Islamic Foundation, Hindu Welfare Trust, Buddha Welfare Trust, and Christian Welfare Trust conducted peace demonstration to maintain intercommunal harmony across the country. The Ministry of Religious Affairs has allocated funds for the repair and maintenance of damaged religious institutions. And
Dr. Hossain, but Prime Minister Modi and India has raised concerns with regards to the fears that we've seen, the reports of violence against minorities, especially Hindus. If you could address that, and then we'll move forward on the other issues. What is your response to the concerns raised by India?
Indian Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi called our chief advisor and talked about the persecution of the minorities. Our leader, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, ensured that the minorities, people, particularly Hindus, are residing, are living side by side with the Muslims. And madrasa students is students of Islamic religious institute safeguarding the important mandirs, Dhakeshwari Mandir in Dhaka and other mandirs day and night. From time immemorial, Bangladesh is a land of communal harmony. Those who are responsible for vandalize, sacrilege, attack the religious, temple religious mandirs, we think that they are criminal. This criminal will be punished under the existing law.
Dr. Hossain, you're saying that the criminals should be punished, but you also said that the incidents are sporadic. Human Rights Watch begs to differ. The Human Rights Watch report says that several districts around the country and members of the Hindu community who have largely been known to back Awami League were violently attacked in their homes, torched, their temples vandalized and shops looted. And there are videos that have come from Bangladesh to show exactly that. So the incidents are certainly not sporadic, Dr. Hossain. Also, when you're saying that so many young people, which is a good thing to see, it's heartening to see that so many young boys and girls are coming and standing to protect the temples, that clearly shows that the temples are not safe, that people and minorities are not safe in Bangladesh today.
You know that when political situation is changed, there are some people, some miscreants have become active to vandalize or attack or sacralize the religious institute, particularly mandirs, monasteries, and the churches. The government is strongly determined and committed to maintain communal harmony at any cost. We have already visited Dhakeshwari Mandir at Dhaka, and we have talked with the priest, with the Brahmins about this matter. Janamashtami will be held tomorrow. We have taken strong measures for their safety, and they can easily perform their religious rites.
You think they'll be coming out? Sir, do you think they'll be coming out to celebrate Janamashtami?
Janamashtami will be held tomorrow. And in Bangabhavan, the president and religious ministers will welcome the Hindu leaders, and we would like to greet them for their religious rites, religious festivals with zeal and fervor.
Well, that's an important point. We also know that Professor Yunus had met with not just the Bangladeshi Hindu community earlier, but also with other organizations as well, to ensure that there's peace in the country and there's no communalism. But there are also 13 regional and international organizations, which include Amnesty, Human Rights Watch, World Organization Against Torture. All of them have written a joint letter to you and your interim government, sir, saying that there are concerns and that human rights violations are taking place in Bangladesh. What's your response to the international community that is monitoring Bangladesh very, very closely?
Today, we have talked with the members of United Nations about the human rights of all people, irrespective of caste, creed, religion. We are maintaining harmony among our people. Every people have right to perform religious rites, to preach their religion, to adhere their tenets, to preach their religious teaching freely. Under the Ministry of Religious Affairs, there are three departments: Hindu Welfare Trust, Buddhist Welfare Trust, Christian Welfare Trust. They are working with us for the welfare of the their respective communities.
Okay.
Three departments are working. Three departments are working under the management of Religious Affairs Ministry. Hindu Religious Welfare Trust is a national government trust that looks after the welfare of the Hindu community of Bangladesh, which is located at Dhaka. To provide financial assistance for the management, reform, development, and expansion of Hindu Religious Institute for the overall welfare of the Hindus, to provide financial assistance to disadvantaged Hindus and students, and to coordinate the activities aimed at establishing the history, philosophy, culture, and peaceful social order of Hinduism.
Well, Mr. Hossain, all this can happen once there is a bit of stability in the country itself. For now, the fact that there is a bit of instability, there are concerns. What is your expectation from the UN fact-finding team that is going to be in Bangladesh? You just said that you are engaged with the United Nations, but there is a fact-finding mission that is going to be in Dhaka. What are the expectations? Because they have already raised concerns. Their own bodies and human rights watchers who send reports back to headquarters have raised concerns for the situation on the ground. So what's your expectation from the UN fact-finding team?
The delegation of United Nations visited many temples and called on the respective ministries. We assured the United Nations delegation, the Ministry of Religious Affairs has taken adequate measures to repair and maintenance of the depreciated or damaged religious institution. And we assured them the occurrence of damaging or attacking the mandirs and Hindus' household. We will, inshallah, control, and we bring to book these miscreants. We think that those who are attacked or vandalize or sacralize the religious institute, they are criminal. Criminal would be punished under the existing law.
Have there been any arrests made? Anyone held accountable for
legal action has been going on. We have issued letters to the Deputy Commissioners of Bangladesh to send a detailed report on vandalism or attack in any religious institute. We have we have ordered the Deputy Commissioner. They are inquiring this matter, and we hope that we will get the particular reports in detail within shortest possible time.
Right, Dr. Hossain, when I see you, I have to ask you this. You're sitting in front of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's photo, which is right behind you. That in itself is a very interesting, telling picture, so to say, because today, in a very changed Bangladesh, the political atmosphere of Bangladesh has changed so much. Very unfortunate incidents of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's statue being vandalized and brought down, his home, which was a memorial, burned to the ground. How do you see this, where the country wants to reject Sheikh Hasina, but yet recognize what Sheikh Mujibur Rahman did for the country?
You know that Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is the architect of independent Bangladesh. He is a stalwart. Without his contribution, we cannot achieve the independence of this country. Some statues have been damaged by the angry mob, by the general people, by the student movement, activists. It has happened in different areas of Bangladesh. When political agitation is take place, some disorder has been taken place. That is why Bangabandhu's statue has been damaged by angry mob, some people, some miscreants.
Right. But then in terms of the political atmosphere, we are looking at BNP now, which is a strong force. If there are elections to be held, what happens to the political and the social fabric of the country, where there has been a consistent effort to reject Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and his legacy? And will the interim government really allow that?
You have already seen that in my office. The picture of Bangabandhu is seen behind me, and BNP also revert the Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is the architect of independent Bangladesh. I think that general people, many people, BNP and others political party revert him, honored him as a architect of independent Bangladesh. They are revert. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is revered and honored by all the people of Bangladesh as a founder of independent and sovereign Bangladesh.
Dr. Hossain, you yourself as Vice President of Islam have taken or taken the political tone and tenor of ensuring that some non-Muslim and secular writers, their texts to be removed or their writings to be removed from the textbooks in Bangladesh. How do you then propose a more secular Bangladesh?
Bangladesh is a secular country. Every people have the right to perform their religious beliefs, adhere religious tenets, cultural values, and preach their religious teaching. There is no bar. It is a secular country. It is not a fanatic country. It is a secular country. Every people have the right to perform their religious beliefs, religious cultures, and religious values.
Then why were Hindu civil servants being forced to resign, sir? There are videos of Hindu in the erstwhile Awami League government, but they're civil servants. They will serve any government that's in power. Why were they forced to resign?
After a political agitation, after a political change, Awami League has gone. New government came to existence. New interim government working with the general people. And after the restoration of law and order and achieving the political economic stability, and we will arrange a national election, fair, free, and impartial election would be held, and we hand over the power to the elected government as early as possible.
But sir, it is on your watch that we are seeing some of the civil servants. For them, their career ends if they resign. What happens to them? Are you looking at reinstating them? The fact that they were forced to resign in full public view, videos being made of them, and then they were beaten up. These are civil servants. They pass examinations to become officers. What happens to them then? Just because they're of a certain faith and served under a certain government, should they be held? Should they be punished to this extent?
We are working. We are working for a free and fair election to regain political culture, to establish law and order, to achieve economic stability. After that, we will form an impartial election commission, and with free and fair election, and national election will be held, and we will hand over the power to them. We are working for that cause. It is our priority.
Will you also work to reinstate the civil servants, these administrative officials who were forced to resign? The officers who were forced to resign, will you ensure that they are also reinstated, that they get back their jobs?
We will transfer power to the elected government.
Okay.
Those who will get mandate from the public, we will hand over the power to them.
When can we expect elections to be held, sir?
The tenure of this interim government, we do not know.
Mm-hmm.
We do not know when election will be held, but it is our priority. After the establishment of law and order, restoration of law and order, stability of economic growth, and some reforms. We are working for some reforms. If these are completed, we will declare the election time process, and we hope that after a long time, public will choose their representative through fair, free, and impartial election. And
Right. Dr. Hossain, the elections might be held a little later, but Professor Yunus had made it very clear that Bangladesh should have or continue to have strong ties with India. But we also see that the opposition party, the then opposition party, when Sheikh Hasina was in power, had rallied behind the India Out campaign. And most of them are quite anti-India. How do you then see India, Bangladesh work together? Should the parties that have their entire whole agenda being India out come to power? How do you then see the two marry each other to have cordial relations with neighbors?
Bangladesh is a neighboring country, is a big country. We would like to work together. And you know that during the time of independent war, India helped us immensely. We indebted to India. Friendship to all, non-to-milies. It is our foreign policy. We would like to work with the Indian government. Because Bangladesh, if Bangladesh unstable politically, economically, the West Bengal, the Myanmar, and Manipur, and other will be in trouble. For the global, for the tranquility and peace coexistence, it is needed to establish a stable and powerful Bangladesh. It is needed for the peace and tranquility of the West Bengal, Myanmar, and the Seven Sisters.
Right. Dr. Hossain, we've been asking these questions to a lot of the leaders right now in Bangladesh, and most of them, including some senior journalists we've been speaking to, say that the situation is not as bad as is being reported. But there are incidents of violence. The United Nations is looking at the situation on the ground with a lot of concern. There are international organizations that have written to you and your government, the interim government. In such a scenario, Dr. Hossain, I just have to ask you one thing. Isn't it better to accept that there's a problem and work on it rather than be in denial? Is Bangladesh in denial?
The European Union, US, UK, European Unions supported Bangladesh, supported this interim government.
Yes.
And we are working with the rest of the world. We would like to support from the Indian government also. And Narendra Modi have talked to our honorable chief advisor about this matter. We have common issue with the India in many levels. India is a big country, is our neighboring country. We solicit Indian cooperation in our country for the development, for the advancement of our country. We need Indian support, Indian government. We solicit Indian support about Bangladesh upliftment, development, and political stability. We solicit. We like to support from Indian government.
You're right. Support from Indian government, but when it comes to, I'm just going back, Dr. Sen, because I know you're handling the situation. So my final few questions to you before I let you go. I know I've taken a lot of your time. But going back to Janamashtami, you spoke about the fact that you want them to come out and celebrate. But in terms of the security preparations and preparedness, what are the things that the interim government has done on the ground to assure security for Indians, for Hindus who come out to celebrate Janamashtami?
After a student movement, according to reports, no Hindu has crossed the border of Bangladesh and entered to India. That is why it is proved that the Hindus just now, at that time, the Hindus are living without any fear, without any hesitation. They are living in Bangladesh. No Hindu is crossed the border of Bangladesh-India border. No one, not a single.
Isn't that because India has closed the borders more than the fact that they feel safe in Bangladesh?
The Hindus, Buddhists, Christians are much more better than that of Indian Muslims, Indian minorities. In comparison with Indian minorities, the minorities of Bangladesh are quite happy and living without any fear. There is no discrimination. They are working with us. Thousands, hundreds and thousands of officials in government level and in non-government level are working with us without fear.
Well, that's true. That's exactly what I'm saying. Now, that was the situation, Dr. Hossain, when when there was a government in place. Right now, because of the political instability, and I'm not saying it's the interim government. Interim government is trying to do all it can to control the situation. We're not saying that the fault is of the interim government, but we're saying that the situation is such right now because of the political instability that what you're saying right now, the minorities are indeed having a lot of security situation in Bangladesh.
No. There is no security problem. There is no security problem. The Bangladesh government and the people are with the brothers of minorities. And perhaps you have seen that BBC reported that reports on persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh is a false and motivated by a political force. This news has been published throughout the world, particularly in Bangladesh.
But you're only looking at BBC report, not the Human Rights Watch report, not the UN report, not the other reports, sir?
United Nations and humanitarians groups visit Bangladesh and see inspect the mandirs, temples. They can easily. We think that it is a politically motivated propaganda, a mis-propaganda is going on.
Politically motivated by whom? Who's spreading the propaganda, sir?
A section of people for the political reason these are preaching. We are the Muslims, the present government working with the Hindus, and Durga Puja is coming. We are taking special measures for the safety, for the security of their religious rites, religious festivals. We are taking measures, and we have committed.
Right.
In our constitution, rights and equality are same. Muslims have the right, Hindus have the right, Buddhists have the right. We are maintaining this communal friendship, communal harmony among the all people.
Right. Interesting. Dr. Hossain, it was a lovely conversation, but before I let you go, my final question to you. You've answered very candidly all the questions that were posed to you, but how do you see the situation normalize in Bangladesh and stabilize in Bangladesh? While you've been saying that the minorities are safe, the situation on the ground is not ideal right now. There is a problem. There has to be realization and acceptance of that. But in that, we're seeing the interim government try to work a lot on communal harmony. Professor Yunus has been talking about it time and again. So when do you see the stability come in, normalization of the situation where Hindu officers are not targeted, Hindu community is not targeted, Awami League supporters are not targeted, their homes are not burned, shops not looted? When is that situation going to arrive at?
We working hard, and we believe that we have earned the confidence of our Hindu brothers, the minorities. We have earned the confidence. We have visited many temples and talked about the with the Hindu leaders. Tomorrow, a powerful delegation of the Hindus will come to Jamuna Estate Guest House, and we will talk to them about the situation. And we hope that our relation would be much more closer. At the time of 2 p.m., our leader, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, and I will be present there. We will talk to top Hindu leaders about their rights, about their fair, about their puja. We will talk in detail, and we hope that we will be able to earn their confidence. And with the help of the minorities, particularly Hindus, Buddhists, Christian, we are going ahead to normalize the situation and establish a powerful country, economically solvent country with the help of the minorities. We hope that it is our conviction that they will join us to establish a strong and economically solvent Bangladesh.
Dr. Khalid Hossain, thank you so much for speaking to India Today Global. It is indeed a pleasure. A lot of assurances coming from the interim government of Bangladesh, not just when it comes to the minorities and their safety in Bangladesh, Christians, Hindus, as also the Buddhist community, but specific assurances coming from Dr. Hossain on security preparedness and preparations for not just Janamashtami, but also Durga Puja.
We solicit your cooperation and positive news. We solicit your cooperation about positive news. There is no discrimination with the Hindus, with the Buddhists, with the Christian, with the ethnic groups. We are living together, joining hand with each other. We solicit your cooperation. Bangladeshi Hindus are working with us. There is no discrimination between the Hindus and the Buddhists and the Muslims and the Christians. We hope that you will help us to establish a strong and economically solvent Bangladesh. We are trying to create political culture, regain the political culture. There is no fanaticism. There is no terrorist acts. There is no terrorist act. There is no fanaticism. It is a secular country. The Buddhists, the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians are working together for a strong, happy, prosperous Bangladesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Hossain. Thank you.
Thank you.